Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurhali Kanafawas.
My name is Taufik Enha.
Alhamdulillah, we can see again in this video, and don't forget say salawat to Nabi Muhammad SAW, Muhammad. And then without further ado, let's begin for question of discourse analysis for group discussion. Chapter 3, Part 1. Okay, let's go to the number 1. The question number 1 is, do you agree that discourse and discourse analysis refer to the same thing? Give your answer and support them with this. Please, Brother Taufik.
Okay, my answer is no. Discourse and discourse analysis are not the same thing. Discourse refers to use of language in context, the way people use language to accomplish social and communicative tasks. On the other hand, discourse analysis is a field of study dedicated to analyzing discourse, the ways in which people contract share meaning through language. So while they are related, they are not synonym. That's my answer.
Okay, my answer is while discourse and discourse analysis are related, they refer to slightly different concepts. Discourse typically encompasses the broader context of communication, including language, social practice, and cultural norms. Discourse analysis, on the other hand, specifically focus on examining structure, patterns, and function of discourse to understand underlying meanings, power and dynamic and social structure. So, while they are related, discourse is more encompassing, while discourse analysis is specific methodological approach of the study of discourse. So next question number 2. The question number 2 is, do you agree that main task of discourse analysis is to describe errors found in the use of spoken and written discourse? Please give your answer and with the reason.
Okay, my answer is no. I don't agree with the statement that the main task of discourse analysis is to describe errors found in the use of spoken and written discourse. Discourse analysis is a method used to study language in context, focusing on the social aspect of communication and the ways people use language to achieve specific effects. It emphasizes the contextual meaning of language and is used to study large chunks of language, such as entire conversation, text, or collection of text. It can reveal aspects of intended meaning, build trust, create doubt, evoke emotion, or manage conflict. Discourse analysis is not primarily concerned with the describing errors, but rather with understand how language function and how meaning is created in different social contexts. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you. And my answer is also same with Brother Taufik, but I have another reason. No, I don't agree with that statement. It means for question number 2. While discourse analysis does involve analyzing spoken and written discourse, its main task is not solely to describe errors found in their use. Discourse analysis aims to understand the structure, patterns, and function of discourse, including how language is to use and construct the meaning, negotiate power, dynamic, and social identities. While errors in discourse may be noted during analysis, the primary focus of discourse analysis is on understanding broader context and implication of communication rather than solely of identifying errors. Let's move to the number 3. Question number 3. What is question number 3? Question number 3 is, do you agree that the scopes of discourse analysis are both spoken and written discourse? Give your answer by explaining with the reason. Please, brother.
Okay, my answer is yes. I agree that the scope of discourse analysis are both spoken and written discourse. Discourse analysis is concerned with the study of language in us, and it encompasses both spoken and written language. This is because discourse can take many forms, including conversation, speeches, text, emails, and social media posts, among others. Spoken discourse refers to language that is spoken in face-to-face interaction, such as conversation, meetings, and presentation. It is often characterized by its immediacy, spontaneity, and reliance on nonverbal cues like tone of voice, facial expression, and body language. Spoken Spoken discourse is often more informal and dynamic, with speakers responding to each other in real time. On the other hand, written discourse refers to language that is written and communicative through text, such as books, articles, emails, and social media posts. It is often characterized by its permanence, formality, and reliance on visual cues like punctuations, formatting, and typography. Written discourse is often more formal and static, with readers having more time to reflect on their words and revise them before sharing them with others. That's my answer.
Okay, my answer is I agree that scope of discourse analysis includes both spoken and written discourse. Spoken discourse refers to the communication that occurs verbally, such as conversation, speech, or interview, while written discourse refers to communication that is conveyed through written text, such as books, articles, or emails. While both spoken and written discourse are subject to analysis within discourse analysis, research may apply different methods and consideration depending on the medium of communication in the specific characteristic. Next, we are moved to question number 4. What is question number 4? Question number 4 is, do you know about what spoken discourse is? Give your answer. By explaining becomes the actual representation of spoken discourse along with his definition.
Okay, my answer is spoken discourse refers to language that is spoken in face-to-face interaction, such as conversations, meetings, and presentation. It is often characterized by its immediacy, spontaneity, and reliance on nonverbal cues like tone of voice, facial expression, and body language. The representation of spoken discourse can take various forms depending on the goals and methods of the analysis, whether through transcription, audio or video recordings, or the other means. The representation of spoken discourse can provide valuable insight into the social, cognitive, and linguistic process underlying spoken communication. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you. My answer and for question number 4 is yes, spoken discourse refers to the communication that takes place orally, through speech or conversation. It encompasses the linguistic features, patterns, and structures that characterize spoken language interaction. Spoken discourse is the manifestation of language through oral communication, and its representation through transcript, recordings, annotation. Transcription software allows researchers to analyze linguistic features, social dynamic, and communication functions. Okay, next we are going to question number 5. What is question number 5? Question number 5 is, do you agree that interactional speaking is one of discourse analysis scope in spoken discourse? Give your answer by describing what you know of the concept of interactional speaking. Please, brother.
Okay, my answer is yes, I agree that interactional speaking is one of the scope of discourse analysis in spoken discourse. Interaction speaking refers to the ways in which people use language to interact with each other in social context. It emphasizes the collaborative nature of spoken communication, in which speaker and listener work together to create meanings and achieve shared goals. Discourse analysis can be used to analyze interaction speaking in various contexts, such as conversation, meetings, or interview. By examining the ways in which people use language to interact with each other, researchers can gain insight into the social, cultural, and linguistic factors that shape communication. For example, discourse analysis can reveal patterns of turn taking and repair in different cultures, or the ways in which gender, power, and identity are constructed and negotiated through interactional speaking. That's my answer.
Okay, for question number 5, my answer is yes. I agree that interactional speaking is one of the scopes within discourse analysis when analyzing spoken discourse. Interactional speaking refers to the way individuals engage in conversation and interact with each other. It encompasses various linguistic, pragmatic, and social strategy people use to navigate communication interaction effectively. Analyzing interactional speaking within spoken discourse allow researchers to understand how language is used to negotiate social roles, establish rapport, convey meaning, and achieve communicative goals within different contexts and cultural settings. Now we are going to question number 6. What is question number 6? Question number 6 is Question number 6 is, do you agree that casual conversation and classroom conversation are different? Give your answer by describing the difference and support them with example. Please.
Okay, my answer is yes, I agree that casual conversation and classroom conversation are different. Casual conversation typically occurs in informal setting, such as social gathering or conversation between friends, and are characterized by a more relaxed and spontaneous style of communication. In contrast, classroom conversations are more formal and structured, taking place in an educational setting and often following a specific curriculum or lesson plan. One key difference between casual and classroom conversation is the level of formality. Classroom conversation tend to be more formal, with a focus on academic language and concept, while casual conversations are more informal and conversational. For example, in a casual conversation, a speaker may use colloquial language, slang, or regional dialect, while in classroom conversation, a speaker might use more technical language or academic language. That's my answer.
Okay, my question for number 6 is yes, casual conversation and classroom yes, casual conversation and classroom conversation are indeed different in several ways, purpose, and structure. Casual conversation often occur spontaneously and informally, with no predefined agenda or structure. The way involves topics ranging from personal experience to current events and can include digression or tangents. In contrast, classroom conversations are typically more structured, guided by educational objectives and curriculum goals. They often revolve around specific topics or lesson materials and follow a formalized turn-taking pattern, with the teacher facilitating discussion and guiding in the classroom. Next, we are going to question number 7. What is question number 7? Question number 7 is, do you agree that classroom in the first place for learner to learn and practice English? Give your answers by explaining its own special style and support them reason. Please, brother.
Okay, my answer, yes, I agree that the classroom is an important place for learners to learn and practice English, as it provides a structured and supportive environment for language development. In the classroom, learners have access to a trained teacher who can provide guidance, feedback, and correction on their language use. The classroom also offers opportunities for learners to practice English in a variety of contexts and different purposes, such as through group work, presentations, and discussion. Furthermore, the classroom has its own special style of discourse, which is characterized by a focus on academic language and concept. Classroom discourse often involve more informal and complex language use than casual conversation and may have include specialized vocabulary and grammar. The classroom also provide opportunities for learners to engage in interactional speaking, which involves turn-taking, response, and feedback, as well as opportunities for learners to practice their listening and speaking skill. That's my answer.
Okay, my answer for question number 7 is, while the classroom is certainly an important environment for learners and to learn and practice English, it may not always be the first or only place for language acquisition. The effectiveness of classroom as a learning environment depends on various factors, including the teachers, methods, resources, and learner motivation. However, it's important to recognize that language acquisition is a dynamic process that extends beyond the classroom. Learners may also benefit from opportunities to use English outside of the classroom, such as interaction with native speaker, immersion experience, self-study, and exposure to authentic language materials in real-world context. Ultimately, the classroom is one component and also important to multiple phase abstracted approach to language learning. So finally, we are going to last question number 8. Do you agree that concluding discourse analysis for classroom conversation is important? Give your answer by explaining the purpose and the focus, please.
Okay, my answer, yes, I agree, because conducting discourse analysis for classroom conversation can help teachers and researchers understand language use in the classroom, identify areas where students may be struggling, design more effective instructional strategies, and create more inclusive classroom. The focus of discourse analysis in this context is on the ways in which language is used to achieve communicative goals and how this use of language can be improved to support students' learning. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you. My answer for number 8 is, the focus on discourse analysis for classroom conversation typically revolves around examining the structure, content, and dynamics of communication within the educational setting. Researchers may analyze factors such as turn-taking patterns, topic management, teacher-student interaction, feedback mechanism, and language use strategies. By focusing on the aspect, discourse analysis can provide valuable insight into the complexities of the classroom discourse and contribute improving teaching and learning practice. Finally, Alhamdulillah, we finished this discussion, and I say thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.